Hey guys, this is Sports with Dylan. Another Texans trade. They have just been gutting their roster the whole offseason, and now they've also released Whitney Merciless this season. And another Texans trade just happened. Mark Ingram was traded back to New Orleans. Now, Mark Ingram used to play in New Orleans. He was drafted by the New Orleans Saints in the 2012 NFL Draft. And then he moved on, went to the Ravens in 2019, so he had a really long run with them. And then this past offseason, he signed with the Texans. Now, the Texans also have running backs David Johnson and Philip Lindsay. So, they had 3 mediocre running backs. None of them are going to be really game changers, but none of them are going to be awful. So it doesn't surprise me, though, that one of them gets traded. Because they don't need all 3 of them. It's like the Bears case, having Justin Fields, Andy Dalton, and Nick Foles. There's no point in having all 3. Now, in the Bears case, though, Justin Fields is a rookie, so they're keeping him. But the Texans none of them are rookies. In fact, so all 3 of them could have been traded away. Mark Ingram gained the starting role, so it kind of makes sense for him to be traded away, because, let's face it, Texans aren't going anywhere this year. They're in contention for the first overall pick. So, in that case, why not trade away more players? Now, Mark Ingram is a veteran. As I said, 2012 NFL Draft. He's 32 now. So, I think that one makes more sense for him to trade away. I'd also have probably actually just released David Johnson. His contract's awful. I'm not sure who'd take it on. And he hasn't really done much for them. And then kept Philip Lindsay, in my opinion, because he's younger. He's 26. So he can at least stay with the team. Well, Mark Ingram could be done after this year. Now, it makes sense for the Saints to trade for running back, because their backup running back, Tony Jones, went on IR a couple weeks ago. They also released their former backup, Latavius Murray, shortly before the NFL season started. He's now with the Ravens, where he's been producing quite nicely as their starter, because J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are both out for the season. Anyways, the Saints kind of need a backup. So, Mark Ingram makes great sense. Alvin Kamara is a starter forever. Alvin Kamara is amazing. But you can't just run with Alvin Kamara and then, I don't know who's next, Dwayne Washington, I guess? That doesn't work. So, I'm glad for them that they managed to get a good backup running back. Mark Ingram's not one of the best running backs in the league. So, he's suitable for a backup role. Of course, it's tough to say nowadays for running backs. We have an abundance of running backs in the NFL right now. So, plenty of running backs could be backups or could be starters. It's tough to say where you draw the line. There are some backup running backs who should definitely be starters, and some starting running backs who I think should be backups. But there's plenty in between, including Mark Ingram, where you go, I'm not sure, should this guy be a backup? Should this guy be a starter? We know he's not a top 15 starter, but does that mean a different backup, such as Tony Pollard, would he be a top 15 starter either? I'm not sure. So, anyways, the Saints now have someone good to back up Alvin Kamara. And it's kind of nice for Mark Ingram. He's 90 yards away from getting the Saints rushing title. So, I kind of hope he gets that for his sake. Most rushing yards as a Saint. The Saints are surprisingly sort of still in win-now mode. I assume this year would sort of be a retooling year. And it sort of is, but I think at this rate they're in a playoff race. Well, they are in a playoff spot right now. Because you've got Cardinals, Packers, Cowboys, and Buccaneers should win their divisions respectively. And then you've got the Rams, almost certain for a wild card spot, could still even win the division. That one's really close. But after that, Saints are probably playing next best. 49ers aren't playing well. Wilson's out. Bears and Vikings, neither of them are really playing very well. Panthers have fallen apart. So, I think the Saints should make the playoffs this year at this rate. And it'll be interesting to see that for them. Now, I'm not sure if they will really win. Like, I can't see the Saints winning the Super Bowl. Because as I named, the 5 teams ahead of them are easily ahead of them. It's not questionable who's better, the Rams or the Saints. It's easily the Rams. So, I'm not sure if it's win now mode, but now they do have a backup running back. Someone Alvin Kamara can rely on because he doesn't want to take every single snap. And it's also good for the Texans because, as I said, Mark Ingram's a veteran. He's been playing well, so now they got a pick for someone they signed in free agency and isn't going to make a difference. All we know is it's a late round pick. They haven't specified. But they still got a pick, and that's what they need right now. They are going to need to rebuild completely. So, this is sort of where you start. I mean, actually, they started by releasing J.J. Watt and then trading away virtually every other mediocre player they had on the roster. But now, they're continuing that. As I mentioned at the beginning, just a couple weeks ago, they released Whitney Merciless. They're arguably their best defender now, because JJ is gone. And this one makes sense. It's kind of the same reasoning they had for releasing JJ Watt. He's an older veteran. He deserves to find his own team. Now, obviously, Whitney Merciless has not had the same kind of success as JJ Watt. But still, he deserves to find his own team, which is now the Packers. And now he might be able to win a Super Bowl. Or at least play for a good team in his final years, not the Texans who are rebuilding. He's not going to make much of a difference this time, both of them, Mark Ingram and Whitney Merciless. This year is pretty much done for the Texans already. They're not going to make the playoffs. What they can hope for right now is to get the first overall pick. And then maybe select some star defensive player like Kevin Thibodeau. Or a quarterback like... Actually, I don't know who's the best quarterback right now. Matt Corral, I guess? Anyways, this year is done for the Texans. So they might as well get rid of all the players that aren't going to make an impact in the long term. Which includes Mark Ingram and Whitney Merciless. And especially when they trade them, like Mark Ingram, now they get a pick. So they get something from a player who wasn't even going to help them this year. So I think this is a good trade for both sides. Overall, it makes quite a bit of sense once you look into it. So, thanks for watching.